Parts of England and Wales, it'll tend to cloud over as the day goes on, and there too you might get 1 or 2 spots of rain before the day's out, but for most of England and Wales a dry day, and once the fog and frost is cleared, once again fairly bright, but it'll stay quite cold, and I think just here and there 1 or 2 of those fog patches may linger right through the day. Well, that's all. A very good night to you.
Programmes for Wednesday evening on BBC One. At 6:40, Russell Harty's guests include Alex Higgins and Slade. In Taxi at 7:10, Elaine's involvement with an artist worries Alex.
Errol trusted women and lost. I trusted women and lost. What chance does an anteater like you have?
Foggy volunteers his friends for a concert party in Last of the Summer Wine at 7:35.
I get this terrible sense of inadequacy when I know I'm being watched. When did you find that out? On my honeymoon.
In Spy Ship at 8:05, Martin continues to pursue evidence on the mystery surrounding the Caster.
If it hasn't been out to sea, and it hasn't been submerged to any depth, where has it been?
In a report from China at 9:30, QED reveals what happens when the Chinese fall ill.
30 years ago, China was known as the sick man of the East. So what happens now if you fall ill in the People's Republic?
With Sports Night at 10:20 and Mike Harding at 11:10, that's Wednesday evening on BBC One.
The Year of the Balloon on BBC Two in 5 minutes looks back at 200 years of ballooning and the graceful airborne celebrations in France. There's drama on BBC One now as a new cable TV station prepares to take to the air and goes in search of video stars.
We're watching Max Loom?
Correct.
What's the precise interaction?
Customer wants a kung fu movie for her boyfriend. Loom has been told to push The Lady Vanishes.
I'm clear.
Why will this name, written on a grimy train window, prove to be of crucial importance?
Dunno.
Of course you don't, which is why you're so incredibly intrigued.
Would you describe this as an action picture?
Actions for kids. The Lady Vanishes is a classic of suspense.
Yeah, but Ian's into action, physical violence and that.
Buying a cassette is a long-term investment. In the long term, physical violence pulls on you. It lacks emotional content. Whereas a moment like this is eternally thrilling.
Speed, wit, commitment. I like him.
He certainly has executive potential.
You say knows Pimlico.
Correct.
Get him up here.
Okay.
You're skeptical.
If we're going in-house, then Loom is the best bet. But personally, I think we need a professional.
Oh, I think going in-house is good karma. Besides, means we keep control of the situation.
Karma's a mystery to me. Control, I understand.
Ian hates disappointment, makes him really ratty.
Well, he won't be disappointed. In the long term, there's just no comparison between Bruce Lee and Dame Mae Whitty. The woman will haunt you. Do me a favour, check out the geezer standing over there. Be discreet.
Yeah, what about him?
What do you reckon?
Creep.
Yeah, that's my impression. He's been coming here once or twice a week, sizing up the guys, you know what I mean?
Probably a molester of some type. The woods are full of creeps. If Alfred Hitchcock buggers up my Christmas, I'll break this over your head.
Yeah, happy whatnot to you and all. Hi. Yeah, what?
Just a word.
Look, I've seen you skulking around here studying me, and if you're after my body or something, I don't play.
Your body? No, I'm Water 4.
Congratulations.
Personal assistant to Bob Surge?
My Führer?
You're Chairman, correct.
How do I know you're kosher?
Well, there happens to be a short but incisive profile of me that appeared in this month's televisual. Trend section.
Seems to be you. Says you're ruthless.
And extremely shrewd.
Must have missed out that bit.
Look, Bob asked me to speak to you. He's watching you now on a closed circuit at Surge Towers.
I thought that was for shoplifters.
Well, the system's dual functional gives Bob staff assessment capability.
Hello, Bob. This is a wonderful job. I'm really happy in my work.
Steady, Max.
Being on television wires me up.
But Bob would very much enjoy having a drink with you tonight. Shall we say the penthouse at 6?
We shall say it.
Excellent.
Am I going to enjoy this meeting?
That depends.
On what?
On whether or not you'd care to run a television station.
And now, at last, London is cable country. Cable Country Television invites you to plug yourself into the greatest adventure man has ever known, the communications revolution. Suddenly, your television is a passport to excitement. 18 channels of high-voltage entertainment, sports events from all over the globe, a dazzling array of first-run Hollywood films, spectacular Cable Country specials, ABBA, Frank Sinatra, Barry Manilow, Bananarama, Pavarotti in Las Vegas. Yes, life is worth living if you choose to live it in Cable Country.
How's the tequila sunrise?
Very festive.
Tell us, Max, what's your personal reaction to cable television?
The punters will be able to see bad movies straight away instead of having to wait 2 years.
Max, there's a revolutionary army on the march and all you can see is their dust.
An army?
I'm talking access.
Are you?
Oh, look, Max, when you subscribe to Cable Country, get this little gizmo. Now, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the normal or boring programs. Well, A to M are the new channels. 11 of them are owned by consortiums like Goldcrest. But there are 3 public access channels.
And that's where you come in.
Well, I'm looking hard, Bob, but all I can see is dust.
You see, Max, I own Pimlico.
Really?
Yeah, I've been given the franchise for Channel D. That's an access station that'll reach Pimlico, Belgravia, Chelsea, and just creep into South Kensington.
We'll be transmitting from a warehouse off the Vauxhall Bridge Road.
I have a hunch that you might be the right guy to run the show. How's your drink?
What?
Need a top-up?
No, I'm fine. Guys, this is crazy. You don't know anything about me. Okay, so you know a few things about me.
When we hire someone, we like to get to know the whole man.
After leaving university, he spent 6 months managing a band called the Mythicissimus.
Oh, a bit artsy.
Shot a 60-minute video of them for £200 and sent it to a producer at London Weekend who put you in the minorities unit.
What was your minority?
Youth.
Of course.
You lasted a year.
There is a limit to how long you can do research into rock and fashion.
And at present, you're sharing a council flat with your mother, who is depressed and has a severe drink problem. She's walking in her sleep, which is making you very tense.
Nosy buggers, aren't you?
Making dead brood about your dossier.
Let's talk about freedom. I see that when you applied for work at Vunderful Video, you told the personnel manager, I want to sell cassettes because they represent freedom of choice. Elaborate.
I got a bit rhetorical there. Being interviewed was winding me up.
Didn't you mean it?
Yeah, of course I meant it. At least with cassettes, you don't have to watch the junk some middle-class geriatric decides it's okay for you to watch.
Correct. And with Channel D, we're going to extend that concept of video power, because we're saying to Joe Blogs, and Josephine Blogs, because in no way are we sexist, we're saying, here are the facilities, make programs, there's no mystique, anyone can be a video star.
As long as they can afford £1,000 an hour.
Come and see the studios tomorrow, Max. Meet the staff. Let's fix a time. I think you're going to like each other. I think there'll be a two-way empathy situation. What,
is this
PM
some kind of a test or an elaborate practical joke, or is it just cocaine madness?
Oh, no coke. No test, no joke. Watching you on the closed circuit, I saw something about you, and it was all I really needed to know. You have tremendous reflexes.
Yeah?
Max Loom, I've got an appointment with Bob Serge.
Not around.
He told me to be here at 4.
It's 3:45.
I'm overeager. Can I have a shift at the studio?
There's no Loom on the authorized visitors list.
There aren't any names on that list.
That's right. We ain't expecting no visitors.
Look, Bob Serge asked me to see the studio and meet the staff.
You met him?
You're the entire staff?
Well, the only one working serious. The others just come in, go downstairs, and mess around with the tracking equipment.
Thanks.
Hey, what's this?
Like I said, I'm here to meet the staff. I've met you, which has been entrancing, and now I'm going to meet the others.
Look, Buttercup, you're not going anywhere. You're not authorized.
Oh, no! Oh! Hey, baby, what's happening?
Lay down, Turkey. Another creep trying to bluff his way in.
Actually, Calvin, that's the new managing director.
Oh, shit.
Max Loom, Calvin Tripoli.
Hi.
Could you just let me up, please?
Sorry, Bob. Wasn't on the authorized visitors list.
Huh? John was meant to alert you. I rang him this morning.
Yes, John forgot. He's all wrapped up with Gorazon 4 today. No hard feelings.
That's very generous of you. Calvin doesn't trust anyone. He used to mind Adamant, made him hard-bitten and cynical. Same thing happened to me listening to the music. Where's the team?
Workshop.
Ah, come on. Well, what's Gorazon 4? Russian satellite. Hi. Thanks. Meet Fritzie Lang, your resident director. Joseph Kay, head of design. Max is the new managing director. Hi. What are you watching?
Doctor Who in Arabic.
What, live?
Yeah, Sally's a piece of cake bounces off the NASA satellite. Stump's up on the roof fiddling with our dish. If he can track Gorazon 4, we might get something really interesting.
Sit.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
When someone's behind him, he gets edgy. John, we're receiving something. A woman. It's a man.
That's Russia.
We have contact with Gorizont 4.
Moscow News.
Fantastic. Jesus. Saudi, Russia, right on the Vauxhall Bridge Road.
The lighting's pathetic. What about those graphics?
Pathetic. Lighting? Graphics? You've got bloody Moscow.
John, congratulations.
Ah, shit. There aren't enough electromagnetic wave modes being generated in the aerial feed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you
Our new managing director.
Max Loom, John Stemp, your chief engineer. Built this tracking station out of used parts. He experimented with it in his spare time.
He hasn't, he?
This is it, Max. Your empire. Ah, will you be more excited when you see the cameras, the microphones, the knobs, the diodes?
I'm very excited already.
Yeah, I can sense your energy. It's colossal.
Our Victoria line runs underneath, slight drawback. May have to take some of the quieter shows after midnight.
Ah, great rock albums are cut at night. Why not TV shows? Ooh, excuse me. Time for one-on-one with Calvin.
How'd you get on with the staff?
Great. My own security guard put me in a hammerlock, then Stemp, K and Lang did their famous impression of paranoid ice cubes.
Bob calls them his creative anarchists. You're an authority figure. They're bound to be slightly paranoid at first.
Slightly paranoid? My head of design is the central character in a Kafka novel.
Strange boy. His real name's Harold Buffy, but he didn't think that was tormented enough. So when he went to art school, he started to call himself Joseph K.
Yeah, he does look like a man who expects to be arrested for any minute.
Don't let him frighten you.
I'm not frightened. Intimidated, maybe, but not frightened.
Oh, they are intimidating, very expert, very obsessive. Obsession's an excellent trait in the staff if it can be controlled.
I'm not really into control.
Serge has every confidence in you, Max. A multi-millionaire, he still finds time to dribble with Calvin Tripoli. I just hope Bob never loses that boyish enthusiasm.
Walter, since you're so ruthless and shrewd, there's something I have to ask you. I mean, frankly, this operation does seem a little bit on the flaky side. I mean, what are the chances that one morning Bob wakes up and loses his boyish enthusiasm for Channel V?
Work it out, Max. At £1,000 an hour, video stars will be earning £10,000 a day. With only 5 people running the station, overheads are incredibly low. I can't see Bob losing his enthusiasm for a pre-tax profit of £300,000.
Hey, come on, Strangelove. Get in on the action.
Loom. We'd like to have a chat with you.
Sure.
Not now. Come back when the Harlem Globetrotters have gone home.
Gee, Fritz, it's Saturday night. I was sort of hoping to go out bopping.
Please. It's very important to us. Urgent.
It sounds capital M, melodramatic.
Would you call betrayal on the highest level melodramatic?
Who's betraying whom?
Maybe no one.
Well, that puts me in the picture.
What do you know about Charlie Spengler's disappearance?
Charlie Spengler?
And what are you going to do about Teddy Whazz?
Teddy Whazz.
We must talk to you
Group
tonight.
photograph time. Max, you stand next to Bob. Calvin, stand the end. Everybody's not
Workshop,
against there.
9 o'clock.
Okay. Right. Oh, Joseph, smile.
Hi.
You're early.
You did use that word urgent. What's with Calvin?
We doped him.
Thought it was safer. We haven't sussed if he's them or us.
Put about 25 magic mushrooms into a pint of lager and blended the whole thing in a magic mix. Rib.
No, thanks. I'm not really a ribs person.
There were some little cakes.
Wouldn't mind some whiskey. What's he saying?
No idea.
You're interested?
Not really.
Could be announcing Reagan's just nuked Havana.
No, I think he'd be angry.
Guess you're right. So what's all this about?
You may have noticed we were a little edgy this afternoon.
Yeah, the atmosphere was pretty gothic.
They sprung you on us. No warning. We never thought they'd replace Charlie so fast.
This is Charlie Spengler.
Yeah.
And I've replaced him.
Didn't they tell you?
No.
I suppose they wanted me to think I was first choice.
Ugh, they're pretty smooth.
Smooth as in extremely greasy.
So who was Charlie Spengler?
He was a special effects whiz with entrepreneurial ambitions. We were all at the Beeb together, bored out of our minds.
All I did was middle-brow costume drama. I wasn't a designer, I was a taxidermist.
Better than being a glorified electrician.
Yeah, or assisting third-rate directors, plotting their camera scripts while they get plastered.
So you were drowning, and Bob surged through your lifeline?
In a roundabout way. Serge recruited Charlie, and Charlie recruited us.
We had a fantastic month planning the video revolution.
And then?
Charlie disappeared.
Right after a long session with Snurge and Fall.
Sounds marginally sinister.
Doesn't it?
And you've got no idea what happened to
We
him?
know exactly what happened to him.
What?
He went to Los Angeles to work for CBS.
$100,000 a year.
Oh, kids, sending someone to the States to make a pot of dough isn't actually sinister. Cementing their feet together, dropping them in the Thames, that's sinister.
Of course they didn't kill him physically, they murdered him morally. Obviously they bought him off and he was so ashamed he never even phoned to say goodbye.
We reckon Charlie was making them nervous.
You see, he was pretty cynical about cable. There'll be movies, old American sitcoms, maybe even softcore porn, but he said Channel D could be different. He said it could be misfit television, a wild channel.
Yeah, he had a great commitment to misfits.
That's why he hired us.
Okay, the picture's sharp. You figure Spengler was shipped off to LA to clear the decks for a purge.
Or control.
Well, I'm not into purge and control. It's one of the reasons I hated real television.
What is your vision?
My vision? This morning I was flogging cassettes, and this evening I'm running Channel D. My vision's blurred. I need time to meditate. But I think we'd agree on most things. I mean, you're all a little weirder than I am, but a wild channel, in the abstract, up to a point, yeah, it sounds great.
Well, you use Teddy Whazz.
Who is Teddy Whazz?
Our link man. Me and John found him busking with a rap band in Hammersmith.
Yeah, very interesting mind. More like an extraterrestrial than a human being.
When can I meet him?
In about a month, when he gets out of Brixton.
There's some kind of mix-up involving Norwegian amphetamine.
I'd suggest we defer our decision on Whazz until after he gets out of the slammer.
Fair enough.
In the meantime, you realise we have about 70 hours a week to fill. We have to advertise for program ideas everywhere, from the Sunday Telegraph to Zipper magazine. You see, the stimulating thing... Thanks, John. The stimulating thing is that we're trawling in uncharted waters. And hopefully, Channel D's going to land some really bizarre fish.
How bizarre will our paymasters let us be?
I'll fight for maximum space. Ask them to leave us alone till after we firm up the first month's schedule.
You believe they'll buy that?
Sure, why not? They're interested in money. You're interested in energy. Money, energy, they're compatible.
Very glib. I doubt if they'll see it that way.
I don't find them sinister. I'm not even sure they elbowed Spengler. Maybe he had an offer from the States and resigned. Free will, no pressure. Maybe that's what he was too ashamed to tell you.
It's possible.
And maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm not a secret agent.
That's possible, too.
Your expression of trust is overwhelming.
We're chemically incapable of trust at this point. But we're probably slightly less hostile.
Thanks.
Let's show him cheap music.
Yeah, right.
We did this last week. It'll give you an idea of my style. I'm very involved with the German expressionists.
That's why we call her Fritzie Lang.
Hi, Calvin. How are the mushrooms?
Pretty cosmic.
Fed up with the box. Fed up with the box. Games unsoaked in vanity. No anger, joy. No shots. Dead from lack of energy. Wake up. Grab the power, take control. Change
Smoke?
Bugger off, pig. That's my mum.
I think they were very excited. It's a winning idea. I can get back in no fear of thousands of bus enthusiasts. I'll mix bus history with the latest bus news. Do you know what district is using a Super XH J11 vehicle?
No.
Willesden, and it's a marvellous little bus. Yes, indeed. Willesden's lucky.
We'll be in touch. Adolf Meyers with Mickey and Minnie. Myers. Adolf Myers, sorry.
This is a number 87. He used to run from Putney to Wandsworth Bridge. That's only a sample of the fascinating things you'll learn on my show.
My show's about evolution. Did you know that man is descended from the axolotl?
I don't want to waste your time, Mr. Loom, so here it is, the idea. I am Adolf Myers, president of the Karaoke Talent Agency. We specialise in witty, literate acts, redolent of the great sophisticated 30s artists, but with a modern offbeat flavour. I tell you sincerely that there are dozens of resorts from the Costa Smeralda to Puerto Rico who would be lost without the Karaoke Talent Agency.
You understand, Mr. Myers, we're not looking for individual acts, we're looking for programme concepts.
Precisely, and I don't want to waste your time, so here it is, the idea. A weekly review entitled They're the Tops, utilising our finest performers. To whet your appetite, I'll give you Mickey and Minnie. That's M-I-N-I, if you catch the wit. We think of Mickey and Minnie as the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers of the age of anxiety. And here they are, singing their own composition, Can't Get You Out of My System.
Your auburn hair, silk underwear, oh my, how I've missed 'em. Afraid it's clear, still love you, dear, can't get you out of my system.
The brilliant sheen of your brilliant chin makes my eyes flood like a cistern. You're stuck with glue, I'm mad about you, can't get you out of my system.
When we were together, I wanted to kill you.
But now we're not, you still get hot, remembering how I would thrill you.
Life is hell.
Elegant footwork, what? Oh, surrealism. Brilliant. This may be hard to believe. I've got 20 more where they come from.
It's possible, Mr. Myers, that they're the tops might be right for Channel D. Why don't you let us have a detailed breakdown of the pilot show?
I'd open with my Hungarian contortionist.
Put it down on paper.
By tomorrow. I don't want to waste your time. What sort of money are we talking, by the way?
£1,000 an hour.
Correct?
Sorry?
You're paying £1,000 per act.
No, we don't pay you, you pay us.
Stop dancing, kids!
We supply the designer, the director, the engineer, the studio. You have a potential audience of over 500,000.
Where would my poor struggling artiste find £1,000 in this depression?
You get advertisers. We allow 6 minutes of commercials per hour.
You hear? They want us to pay them.
You stupid bloke! You always get things else backwards!
Oh, bloody psychotic midgets!
Get over here! Let me go!
Mr. Raymond, Mr. Flat,
Let me go!
It's a rip-off. We pay them. I bet you bloody well didn't know that, did you?
I certainly did know that. I thought everybody knew that.
It's a 6-part comedy drama series called Left Side, Right Side. Redundant steel apprentice from Corby comes down to London, lives in mad Finsbury Park rooming house, picks up guys every spare minute. Street, tube, Wendy burgers.
It's not going to be worthy or melancholy. And it's going to have something no other teleplay about homosexuals has ever had. Really fabulous sex.
People are always saying this programme or that programme must have been written by 11-year-olds, which is an insult to 11-year-olds. So I asked Bill and Juliet to write a series, and they've come up with a cracker.
At last, a series for kids that's not written by rinkers.
Yeah.
I know you're asking yourself how come a progressive young woman like Juliet would collaborate with a guy, but we have a really mature relationship. I would never intrude on her development, either as a writer or a woman.
See, what you've got to imagine is Scheherazade in a very revealing rubber catsuit, plus a troupe of erotic dancers. It's just like real television.
And for years we've been doing these rather successful dramatized lectures, Unsung Heroes of the British Empire, and we thought they'd adapt awfully well for the box.
Awfully well.
We've tried to interest the bloody BBC, but those trots go into rigor mortis at the first whiff of patriotism.
Word isn't in their vocabulary.
Episode 1 is the life of Edward John Eyre, who was the first white man to cross the Great Australian Bight. I play Eyre, and Caroline plays my faithful Aborigine servant, Wiley.
When I black up, I'm a dead ringer for an abo.
I live in Cadogan Square, you see, surrounded by fascinating, talented, attractive, articulate women. Women whose opinion is never solicited. A frustrated majority. And I propose to take a simple video camera and interview them on the streets. Get their opinion of contemporary issues, and when I've got their opinions, I shall ask them to take off their knickers.
Good stuff.
Reminds me of my childhood.
Hello, boys. Welcome home.
Max!
Oh, I was just telling Walter. This is deep stuff. We planned to run Muszynski's pieces just before close down. Our version of the epilogue. We've been inundated with videos. Drowning in art. Fascinating. Good trip. Enjoyed Barbados. New recording studios. Really neat.
Horrific. The sun's my Achilles heel.
Played some good cricket, though, didn't we, Walter?
He pressured me into exercise.
Yeah, well, no one trusts a squat person.
New York, on the other hand, was excellent.
The new hotels are dreadful. Next time you go, Max, you must stay at the Sherry. Try elegance. The Sherry. I'll remember that. So, what's the mood in Pimlico? Cheerful. And yet edgy.
I mean, the team of paranoids are also schizophrenic.
Cheerful because he left us alone for 6 weeks, and edgy because they're waiting to know your reaction to the month-long schedule. Delighted with the effort and the thought. Great. Naturally, we have a few questions. You're feeling a little bit schizophrenic as well?
Yes.
Nothing terminal. Max, coffee, croissant. Let's not hide behind croissants, Bob. Get down to it, eh? Excellent. Truth is, we're a bit concerned about the schedule.
The schedule heavily features the weird and the bizarre. 11-year-old neurotics, gay steelworkers, tribal mud wrestling.
The unconventional, yes.
In addition, you want me to subsidise another 20 equally unconventional ideas.
Correct.
Nikki Trent, lesbian mother.
Brilliant.
Sick City?
It's a 6-part documentary devised by this dynamic young doctor. He's a socio-allergenist. It's about 20th century urban allergies, the politics of illness.
Sounds like a big ratings winner.
Not that I actually give a shit about ratings, but this guy could be the David Attenborough of sinusitis.
Well, that's it, the nub of the problem.
Sinusitis.
Not giving a shit about ratings.
Ratings? You can't talk about ratings. Boys, this is underground television.
Underground, not invisible. We need some kind of an audience.
We'll have an audience. Freaky, loopy, but an audience. A new kind of audience.
Max, we can't live on loops alone.
It's ludicrous to spend money advertising our own products just to subsidise lesbians and allergists when you've rejected other people, normal people with potentially popular programme ideas and the capital to pay for
The
them.
rejects weren't Channel D material.
Well, what was wrong with 30 minutes of vintage pop video?
Let's leave the old ABBA premise to Richard Branson.
And the Scheherazade Arabian Nights variety
Just an
hour?
off-key version of any light entertainment
A
crap
normal
you've ever
person
seen.
might have enjoyed it.
Channel D isn't for normal people. Normal people have real television.
Well, what about this guy who's going to get Knightsbridge matrons to strip in Cadogan
J.D.
Square?
Quick
Sounds pretty
That
wild.
wasn't wild. That wasn't even genuine sleaze. It was pathetic.
I'll tell you what's pathetic. Losing £20,000 a week. Jesus, Bob, I told you you needed a pro, a pragmatist.
Unlike Charlie Spengler.
Correct.
Why didn't you tell me I had a predecessor?
It was another era.
But you're making the same mistake he made, letting Kay and Lang shape policy. Now you have to ride them. Don't let them ride you.
My staff, Walter, not my horse.
They have to be controlled. They're talented people. Like all talented people, some of their ideas are crackpot. Should have seen the loop they wanted to hire as link man.
Teddy Whazz.
How did you know?
I'm hiring him.
I don't believe it. They talked him into hiring that psychopath.
I don't consider him psychopathic. More extraterrestrial.
Have you met this character?
No, he's been no way.
Well, if you haven't met him, how could you hire him?
My staff approve him. I trust my
The
staff.
man is violent. The doctors had him sedated on Thorazine.
Controlled violence is a very Channel D trait.
The question of whether or not to hire a psychotic link man pales next to the issue of £20,000 a week subsidy.
It's worth it, Bob. We have to elbow the boring and the pathetic and what you call normal, else we scupper our credibility before we even start.
Christ, Max, no one's talked about credibility since 1976.
Well, I'm talking about it here and now. 1984, Channel D. D for demented. Strange drama, crazed chat, new music, weird comedy, dance and freedom, insanity and energy. What's energy to the so-called minds who plan real television? A 60-minute youth rock art slot once a week? We're after kinetic energy, 10 hours a night. And energy attracts energy. We could be magnetic for mad video stars. We could produce enough nuclear energy on the Vauxhall Bridge Road to blow all the sludge out of this fucking country.
All right, Max, relax.
No, I won't relax, and I won't cooperate. You won't ship me off to Los Angeles like Charlie Spengler.
Oh, believe me, Max, they wouldn't have you in Los Angeles.
Don't be such a smart-ass, Walter. What I mean is I'm staying. I'm creating alternative television. You remember the idea of an alternative, Bob? Isn't that what you old farts were on about back in the prehistoric ages, or was it about money even then?
Okay. I'll back Nicky Trent and Teddy Whazz and all the other crazes for month 1.
With respect, that really is an arsehole decision. You've let him fog up your radar with a lot of hollow rhetoric. Christ, an aging hippie with a guilty conscience and an ex-punk, what a recipe for disaster.
My radar's functioning perfectly. And remember, Walter, the alternative culture made some of us a packet. I think by tapping the ego energy market, Max here may make us a great deal of money.
Honey, I'm home. How'd we do? We won.
Well done, little brother. Yeah, some folks around here was dubious, but I had this insight. You were the kind of dude could exploit the exploit.
Very insightful, Calvin.
Well, my mind's a lot more subtle than it used to be. Since I moved to England, I got politicized. Shit, you know, back in the States, all I ever read was the Furry Freak Brothers and wrestling news.
Perhaps we ought to do your life story.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Where are the lovable anarchists?
Checking out the new control room. Hey, Fritzie, Stamp, Joe, get your butts down here. Max is home.
They swallowed month 1, subsidies and all. Miraculous. No miracle involved, just the right man in the right job at the right time.
We're not on the air yet.
What about you, John? Anything to add to these accolades I'm being thrown?
Seems good news.
That's it?
I hate the verbals, Max.
It's going to be tough, I warn you. We have to record about 180 hours of programs in 1 month.
No problem, Max. We've been waiting for this a long time. Just laying some black coffee and plenty of stimulants.
Did they actually okay Teddy Whazz?
With some silver tongue persuasion. I wish you'd told me he'd been on Thorazine.
He had a few violent episodes after his mum died, but he's off Thorazine now.
When's he get out of the nick?
No, he's been out for weeks. See, when we're doing mute stuff like dancing, there.
Excuse me, if Whazz is out of the nick, why haven't I met him?
He's still shaking.
Shaking?
See, when he was in Brixton, they slipped heavy downers into his juice to curb his sort of volatile temperament. The side effects are something like Parkinson's disease.
I don't mean to sound unfeeling or anything, but do we really want a link man with Parkinson's disease?
There's no problem. He's stable now.
So when can I meet him?
As soon as we can convince him to leave his room.
He's got homosexual panic.
The doc says it's natural. It was very Midnight Express in the shower room.
Now he thinks all black guys want to bugger him.
Well, I hope he's cured before he meets Calvin.
Actually, this schedule's a bitch.
Care to elaborate on that, John?
No.
Package for the inner sanctum.
It's from Walter Fall.
Wishing us good luck.
I'd say that was definitely ambiguous.
What is it?
Just enough rope.
Never mind that son of a bitch. Let's make programs.
Stay with him. And follow him round. Look, now moving close. Closer. Coming closer to him. I want to see his eyes, Nigel. Okay, now move to the right. And moving again. And when they do the turns, follow them round. Now loosen it up again. Good. I want to see them both. Okay. I think it had more energy in rehearsal.
Time's up, Fritz. They're ready for us in Studio B.
Okay, thanks, kids. Terrific. I guess this is going to be like working at British Leyland.
1 hour down, 179 to go.
Okay, John's happy, I'm happy. Let's go for it. Calvin, clear. Oh, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, shit, they're in the wrong studio. Calvin, leather people to Studio A, please.
What's after this? I'm losing track.
Left side, right side, leather disco
Yeah,
episode.
Max, can you get me some fresh orange juice and a Benny?
Oh,
okay, bring on the Aborigine and we'll go for a take.
Look at me, they're shouting, look at me. Saturday, tribal fight.
No, Garry, no. I'm really going to straighten you out. Will you really do that,
Fritzie,
babe?
what?
one went soft.
Right.
Okay, Calvin, from the top, camera 1 went soft.
Monosulfate, it's very bouncy stuff.
While we stopped, I think it would be a good idea if you started with the low-angle long shot before you track in.
Hey, don't intrude on my development as a director, okay?
But it would be incredibly effective, because then you could see the doll.
Max! Get Eric von Bloody Stroheim Jr. out of the control room.
I was only making a suggestion. Bloody good suggestion, if you ask me.
She's knackered, Bill. We all are. We'll take about 120 hours of programs in 3 weeks. We've got to do a lot of it after midnight because we've got this tube problem.
And I thought Channel D was going to be different.
We want it to be. It's another reason we're tense. We've got to be on the air in 10 days'
No
time.
excuses, Max. Problem is she's a wrinkly. You're all wrinklies.
Say, Max, another weirdo. Last night, some cat knocked on the door and asked the way to the property.
Not weird. Whazz.
Whazz? Not Teddy Whazz.
Who wants to know?
Look, man, we just want to know your name. Oh, shit, the guy's passed out.
Drag him into my office, Calvin.
Damn.
Okay. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. The guy lunged at me. That's all I hate, lunges. Fritzie and Joseph K. thought it was time I put in an appearance. What's up?
I just had this quaint idea it might be quite nice to meet before opening night.
Jesus, is that all? I thought it was something significant. I'm not 100% yet. I shouldn't be out of bed yet.
You just said there was nothing the matter with you.
What is this, a prisoner or something? You want to play cat and mouse at 4 o'clock in the morning?
I didn't ask you to come at 4 in the morning. Why didn't you come at a normal time?
Normal? What's your idea of normal, exactly?
Why didn't you come this afternoon, for instance?
I don't have to explain my every move to you. You don't own me.
Teddy, relax.
Relax. Well, what's this interview all about? You've heard negative reports about me. You want to axe me.
Do you think I asked to meet you so that I'd have the perverted satisfaction of axing you in person? I could have axed you by telegram if I didn't want to use you.
Listen, Max. My mum died. I've had a bust. I spent a month in the joint where they paralysed me with haloperidol. I came out shaking with a case of homosexual panic. What I don't need on top of all of that is withering sarcasm. What I need from you is confidence. I mean, is there something about me that makes you nervous?
Coffee? Get him out of here! Get him the hell out of here!
Wants to enter me. They all want to enter me.
Calvin's all right. He's one of the inner sanctum.
What are you doing?
Doing?
With your hand?
Nothing.
Were you going to touch me? Did the black hunk lock the door? Is this some kind of alternative casting couch or something?
Teddy, I think you're going to make a great link man. After you've had a nice, long rest.
That's the Woody Woodpecker song.
Max. Max, 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 Max. You're okay. They said you were probably okay, but I said, how can the guy be okay? He's an authority figure, he's a Cossack, but I was wrong. You're okay.
Teddy, are you a hallucination or what?
Sorry, it was just a riff. A kind of an audition. Fritzie and them said you was antsy about me.
A riff? You mean this was all an improvisation?
Oh, based on fact, I am completely wacko. If I wasn't Larry Loop, I would have come to meet you a month ago, but I didn't want you to judge me. I kept thinking, who is this sucker to judge me? Meaning I thought you reject me. Or why should you reject me when I'm a completely amazing talent? I mean, I am amazing, aren't I?
Stupefying.
And I met this fantastic geezer in the slammer, Doc Shadow, the greatest jazz pianist in Brixton Neck. I want him to support me.
Why not?
He's from Haiti and he plays a sort of voodoo bebop. And he's got this great rooster with a really winning personality. Roosters are very important in the voodoo meaning system.
This is another riff, right?
No, this is truth. I know with me it's hard to tell riff from fact, but this is gospel.
You haven't got any more of this haloperidol on you by any chance?
I'm clean, Sergeant. Wacko, but straight. Have I made the team, sir?
Sure. You're just what Channel D needed. A rooster, voodoo jazz, and an extraterrestrial link man.
Solid Jackson. That's bebop for copacetic.
What's copacetic for?
Everything's coming up roses. Just the one.
Teddy,
Yeah.
did they really say I was okay?
Yeah.
Fritzie? Did Fritzie say I was okay?
Yeah.
Well, I am, in fact. I'm solid.
Good evening.
Hey, Calvin. Well, don't you look what can only be called divine?
It's a big night. I thought I'd indulge the brideshead side of my personality.
Yeah, well, suppose Sebastian Flight had pumped iron. He might have looked something like you.
Max has a TV in his office. I'll tell him you're here.
Hubris. Huh? Nothing.
Right, Nigel, can you show me Teddy's walk up to the piano, please? Is he in?
Yeah.
Well, if he's not there, can you get Calvin to do it for me?
Can I have some voice
Oh,
now,
where the
please?
hell is he?
My voice, please. They're sounding nice. Can I have some voice now, please?
What?
Because I want to set about.
Boys is here.
Oh, it's all right, he's up
Christ.
here.
I better go and watch with them. Do you want to come?
Okay, show me that again.
Destroys his set or something. No fear, Max. I'll hold your hand.
Oh, well, this is what happens when you break for tea.
You don't want to go through this tranquilized.
The hell I don't.
Oh, don't sedate yourself. Experience it. Tension, nausea and all.
Why?
Look, Max, my mum always said television should be comforting, like a warm drink, electronic Bovril. Well, tonight might be ghastly or grotesque or mind-stretching or all of those things. But whatever it is, it won't be Bovril.
Okay, I'll stay straight.
Of course, a couple of lines of sulfate wouldn't do you any harm.
See you later.
Can you get someone to clear the rooster shit off the piano?
Never lukewarm, complacent or mild. Welcome to the channel that's awfully wild. I'm in a mood on the wild.
Hello. Hello, and welcome to Video Free Video. I'm Teddy Whazz, and this is the very great Doc Shadow and his rooster, Homer. We'll be around until 4 o'clock in the AM with lots of terrific entertainment, but I can't guarantee program times because the Doc is liable to start playing any bleeding time he likes. That's the kind of honest, no-crap, unstructured anarchy typical of Channel D, a channel so avant-garde we haven't scheduled any rock concerts. The Victoria line will be making several appearances tonight. That's the kind of honest, gutsy and rough-hewn channel we are. And now, at 6:34, the first of a 6-part series, our Kid Vid slot, A Doll's Life, by Juliet Potter and Bill Sims, presented by Get It Clear, the magazine for aware prepubescents.
Oh, Faye, I need a friend. I can't talk to Mum. Look at the way she makes me dress. Yeah, you do look like a bloody Barbie doll. I'll take you shopping tomorrow. There's so much I want to discuss with you, like the mysteries of puberty and sexual politics in the TUC. Oh, Faye, a strong, aware dummy with a sense of humor. Thank God I found you.
And now here at 8:18, a stirring example of Belgravia patriotism. Unsung heroes of the British Empire. Edward John Eyre treks across Australia with his faithful Aborigine Wiley, followed by the brilliant Dance Theatre of Finchley. Well, did I get that right then?
What are we going to do, Wiley? All our provisions gone and hundreds of miles still to trek.
There may be an answer, Mr. Edward. Nearby. Edible animal.
God bless your natural instincts, Wiley. What sort of animal is it?
Look, Mr. Edward, over there.
God. Penguins? As Wiley stalked the penguin, captured it, and began to eat it live, Edward John Eyre was filled with sorrow at the gap that would always exist between civilized man and the Aborigine. Even so splendid an example as his faithful servant, Wiley.
Melissa wanted kumquats, Charles wanted sprouts. They both found what they were looking for at Allen's of Belgravia.
And now, the completely unbiased Channel D News. Extremely normal, Tebbit said tonight that despite the rise of 50,000 in the number of unemployed young people, government economic policies meant a happier and healthier and stronger Britain for those young people to inherit. Why did you leave me then? I said I loved you, and you know I've been a liar all my life. I'm sorry, Max. I'll have to read the rest of the news later. And now, on to our sports slot with social significance. Tonight, it's tribal mud wrestling live from Studio B, featuring SX Chain, an unreconstructed punk rocker, versus the psychedelic revival's hippie wrestler, Captain Trips.
What? Well, who said wrestling couldn't hurt? Next week, a match between a monetarist economist and the editor of Marxism Today. And right after the break at 12:43, a young lad from Corby goes to his first London disco in... left side, right side.
From erotic aromas to leather goods, Carl will be pleased to serve you at Man's Estate, 139 Wilton Road, SW1.
This is all pretty new to me. The nearest gay pub to Corby was 75 miles away, and it was only open on Monday nights from 7:30 to 8.
Until a few years ago, London wasn't much better. You know, whether it's Labour in power or the Tories, nanny rules, okay.
Listen, why do some guys wear coloured handkerchiefs sticking out of their rear pockets?
Oh, that's just a handkerchief code. American, Nash.
Code?
Yeah, if you're only into one thing, it's a way of letting people know about your preference. If you wear it on the left, you want to do whatever it is. On the right, you want it done to you.
Okay, what's white mean?
Perfectly ordinary humping.
And black?
Bondage. He's looking for someone to tie up.
I get the idea. Left active, right passive. Christ, what's he into?
Oh, he just wants someone to take him to dinner.
Well, all too soon it's over, folks. Hope those of you who are still with us had an interesting Channel D experience. Tomorrow, I promise I'll keep a straight face during the news, when I will be answering the question, what detective superintendent of what South London racially troubled borough said of what local councillor, I hate the bastard, I hate all those black bastards. Tune in tomorrow. We were going to close with a piece of video art. Zbigniew Wyszynski's Is There a God, which is mordant and fascinating, but frankly a bit of a downer to end our first transmission. Sorry, Zbigniew, I promise we'll run it tomorrow. And your other pieces, including the devastating Happy Birthday during the month. But for tonight, I'd like to end with the local band, Cheap Music, singing Video Stars, which is available on Pimlico's own Bag the Swag label. Till tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow, it's good night from me, Doc Shadow, and Homer. Night-night. Now snuggle up under that duvet, hold on tight to that hot water bottle, but don't you dare go to sleep!
Pretty bloody good, suckers!
When you see all the suffering together, you realise one thing.
What was that?
I'm a smart, ballsy, and phenomenally talented woman.
Wasn't it terrific?
I suppose it was quite good for a first transmission.
Where are the capitalist swine?
Answer the telephone.
Oh.
You were sensational, Teddy.
I know.
Where did the clock gossip come from?
Well, I didn't waste my time in Brixton, did I? I developed a highly efficient network of street rats. Rat bulletins will feature heavily in a Pathé News.
Like your image, comedy crusader.
Right, a cross between Max Miller and Clark Kent.
Teddy, mister, let me have some of that bourbon.
It's a heady era, Doc. A great chapter in British history. Channel D versus the Cossacks.
Yeah!
Quick, son, on the 20 calls. 10 great, 2 brilliant, and 8 how do I get on? Not bad for 4 in the AM.
Hope it's not 9 days wonder.
just came for you.
Death to all Marxist hippies, punk animals, mongrel Jews, and black puffs.
That's what I call a comprehensive brick.
Probably a preview of our Audience Appreciation Index.
Say what? You've been so supportive since we came back from New York that I definitely think you deserve the first piece of the cake. Couldn't resist that.
No hard feelings, Bob.
Look, why don't you take one of your famous photos of me, Andy, in a sanctum?
Sure, Bob.
Right, this is it, guys. I've got the photo. Energy over here. Money, Bob. Money over here, and me in the middle, because I'm the conduit, you see. I'm the goddamn connection. Oh, yeah.
Channel D, the adventure channel for wild minds. I'm afraid all the misfits are tied up at the moment making programs. But if you'd like to offer personal congratulations on day one, pour your heart out after the bleep. I really want to leave a message for Mr. Loom. My name is Steve Rideau, and I'm the head of the Pimlico branch of Cable Concern. Could he please, well, ring me at his earliest? My home number is 834-1992. And I'd appreciate it as, well, tomorrow morning if possible, so we could arrange a meeting. Good night.
Listen, hung fats, there are about 25 people ahead of you. Hey, back off, man. Just leave the professor be. Mr. Carlton to you, right in there. Now, keep cool, folks. You've all got appointments. Your appointments will be honored. You understand what I'm saying? Your appointments will be honored. Just keep cool, all right?
It's an idea whose time has come. The history of Satanism and witchcraft from the point of view of the Satanist. Sponsored by the Council to restore Latin in the Black Mass. The Black Mass just isn't the same in English, I can tell you.
Fine. Well, we'll let you know.
Righty-ho. By the way, if anyone needs a divorce, there is nothing quicker or cheaper than a Black Mass divorce.
I want to do the life of Lenin.
How's that?
I'll be right out.
You have to show our video to fans all the time. Trick shot, cocktail. One on film, one on video.
Gravity's Rainbow.
Prince Buster.
Story of Alberta Hunter, the great jazz singer.
Had the rights to Mickey Spillane. Carl Young.
Life story of Yasser Arafat.
A series about crazy women who soon innocent
My
lives.
life story.
Well, I think I'm
It makes sense. If only you can honestly be money.
Sure, baby, you did just fine. Another candidate for the funny farm. That was extremely exhilarating.
A high proportion of disturbing.
Max, the line between exhilaration and terror is such a thin one.
I'll sleep on that. Are we doing any taping this afternoon, Fritz?
Just the dance theatre of Finchley.
Well, I'm going to grab some kit.
You got visitors. Laurel and Hardy, Cable Concern.
Oh,
Terrific confrontation.
terrific.
Don't worry, Max. We can handle these clowns.
Yeah, well, excuse me, I've got a date with Gorison Thor.
John, this concerns all of us. I want you with us.
All right. All right.
Allons, enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire.
Just keep the aggression under control, Eddie. Turn on the charm.
Charm.
Hello. Max Loom.
Stephen Rideau, this is Cedric Shade.
Hi, do you do?
This is my staff, Miss Lang, Mr. Kay, Mr. Stemp, Mr. Tripoli, Mr. Whazz.
Drinks, folks? Usual for me, Kevin, gent?
No.
He's afraid we're going to drug them.
Right, that's it, Calvin. 2 pina colada between the sheets, margarita and a
Whiskey
sour.
Right.
So,
I suppose I ought to apologise or something. We've been a little bit buried here. Interviews, tapings, the transmissions. There just wasn't a moment to get back to you.
Oh, television is incredibly innovative. Oh, isn't it?
And to be honest, I didn't really know who you were. What is cable concerned?
Well, the explanation is in the title, really. We're 50 Pimliconians concerned about cable television in general and Channel D in particular. We feel that the government was precipitate in granting the franchise to a pop entrepreneur like Robert Surge.
We decided to monitor your programmes, to put pressure on the cable authority, to put pressure on you, to make sure you keep to the standards of BBC and ITV.
Oh, come on, Cedric. Our standards are already higher than theirs.
Very amusing.
I was elected chairman. I'm a lawyer. I've already had considerable success organising my square into an effective fighting machine. Cedric, of course, is a highly regarded television producer.
Are you, Sid?
Haven't you just produced a musical version of Winnie the Pooh for the Bee?
That's right, and I'm about to do the life of Mrs. Beaton for Granada. Work both sides of the street.
So, how are we doing so far?
Well, pretty badly in our opinion. First of all, we've had a considerable number of complaints about the noise inside the studio and the litter outside.
Absolutely right. We'll curb the noise. We'll get the Warwick Square Boys Scouts Association onto the litter problem immediately. Well, it's been incredibly enervating meeting you.
Teddy.
Right.
I think the phrase for Teddy is irrepressible.
Oh, I think some might say moral idiot would be near the mark.
It's just a media version of dialectical materialism, ain't it? You're the thesis, they're the antithesis.
It's amazing what you pick up guarding out of
As
there.
I say, we have been monitoring you. Now, the dossier makes some fairly hair-raising readings and random examples. An 11-year-old girl discusses breast development with ventriloquist dummy. Though parenthetically, that probably violated the Exploitation of Children
The
Act.
point was she couldn't discuss sex with her mother.
Homosexual acts between women portrayed as enjoyable and even normal. Mr. Whazz gets rather the lion's share of attention. Blasphemous, most puerile, frequently incomprehensible.
I think the people who find me blasphemous and puerile should tell the people that find me incomprehensible that they're not missing a thing.
Okay, Mr. Rideau, Mr. Shade, picture sharp. Is there anything else before you have to leave us?
Yes, there's universal complaints about this man Brzezinski and his so-called video art.
What's wrong with them? Extremely clean?
Oh, clean, yes. Technically clean, but not wholesome. It's morbid, depressing. Hypodermic syringes hanging. It's not healthy.
A lot of our audience want to see the dark side of life.
Daddy, what's happening?
Some guys dropped in for your autograph.
This is
Doc Shadow, the voodoo pianist.
You see? Fans.
Cable concerned.
I knew there was something wrong. The minute he put his claws inside, Homer became extremely upset.
That is one sensitive rooster.
Right, let's sum up. You're not happy with the programs. What next?
Well, we want you to agree to adhere to our cable code and to allow one of our members to attend your planning meeting.
And if my reaction to that was for the sake of argument, get knotted.
I will go and see Alan North MP, a rather influential backbencher with a special interest in the media. I'll go through this dossier with him, and I will suggest that he makes a very strong representation to the Home Secretary that Robert Surge's franchise be rescinded. I think North will be sympathetic. In fact, I know he will. In fact, he's my brother-in-law.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll read your code, which I'm sure is much stricter than the
I'm
government
curious
code.
about something. I'm sure you get this question all the time, but I have to ask.
Oh, why not leave television alone? People can always switch off what they don't like.
That's the question.
Do you know the problem in philosophy? Does a telephone ring when there's no one in the room? Well, for me, that's never been a problem. It rings. The same principle applies to television. Even when I'm not watching it, it's there. I might be praying in church, a very picture of spiritual health, but lying beneath me in the cable, there is a diseased anarchy. Please, don't trouble us. Sorry.
Bye now, y'all. Now you found your way, don't you be strangers.
I'll kill him! I'll kill the partisan!
Can't kill him, Teddy. It would be a bad career move. Hey, Teddy, you want to cultivate detachment. Veer away from the technology and towards the content. That's really the only way to stay serene.
Great advice, John. Somehow, I don't think I'm ever going to be a serene kind of guy.
Teddy, I've seen Riddle before, somewhere in the mists of time, but I can't fix him.
Well, concentrate, Doc. Concentrate.
Look, aside from language, what have they got on us? I mean, morbidity and depression aren't actually illegal, not even in Britain.
Don't be complacent, Max. They can get us.
Those kind of guys can always get you. Widow and shade. Sounds like a funeral parlour.
C'était maladie d'amour. Regardez pas. Non, attends.
What's he on about?
Amazing.
It's amazing, for Christ's sake.
The doc's gonna look into something. He may know someone who knows where the skeleton is in Rideau's cupboard. Don't be complacent. Don't relax.
I never relax.
Doc Shadow knows. Don't he?
We could measure a tremor, a strain on the earth, and predict when the earth will reopen again. It's called the stress factor. And they know how much devastation can be contained in the human heart before every brain cell comes flying apart. It's called the stress factor. Stress factor. Just another catastrophe theory. Underground rumblings quantify another catastrophe theory. A new calculation. It has been tried, like measuring stress on a bridge, predicting a tidal wave out in Japan. Another catastrophe theory. Only this time, they're measuring man.
That was the Dance Theatre of Finchley performing Stress Factor, and I know just how those guys feel. The Channel D time is 10:15, and if you've just joined us, hi, hello, and a big wet kiss. If you're already noticing the absence of Doc Shadow, don't worry, the great man is on an urgent Channel D mission and will return as soon as possible. Looking ahead, at 10:23, the Brick Lane Operatic Society will be presenting Don Skin, a skinhead version of Don Giovanni, which should be bleeping great. You may have noticed I'm being extremely careful about my language tonight. That is because I met two really beautiful guys this afternoon and I'm feeling a bit spiritual. So I'm going to introduce something that all the real channels have, but I have resisted until now. The God slot. And here it is. Here is the God slot. Let me just reach into the slot here. This should be bleeping amazing, because these are messages direct from God. And as you know, he's an omniscient kind of guy, so they should be worth listening to. And this one is to all the gang of Channel D. God wants us to know that Channel D is a good thing. Capital G, capital G. And if anyone opposes Channel D, God is going to get onto his case. And that person is going to dangle slowly, slowly in the wind. Enough said.
Yes, of course. Yes, understood, Mr. Rideau. Uh-huh. No, I don't think that'll be necessary. Right. Uh-huh. No, very clear. Uh-huh, right. Goodbye. Rick.
What?
We have a week to shape up, and he goes to his sodding brother-in-law. And if Alan North complains to the Home Office, then those spineless bastards will cancel my franchise.
Has Doc Shadow come up with anything?
Haven't heard from him for 2 days.
What's he got to do anyway?
No one knows. He was talking in patois.
Oh, sounds really hopeful.
I'm going to Velma for a massage. Dealing with these capitalist Puritans brings on my bursitis.
Hey, look!
Rise and shine!
Hi, Doc.
Boy, it took some doing, but I finally found him in an after-hours drag club. Now it's time for some amazing revelations and dazzling surprises. Teddy, Max, the ultimate weapon, Eric Dancer.
Hello there. Okay, Doc, you're on.
Well, now the reason I kept staring at that Rideau man was that I recognized him from someplace. And then it connected. It was from the library in Brixton Prison where he was incarcerated. Now, Brixton Prison, being
hold on a
overstocked
minute.
with felonious fellow... What?
You mean Rideau was in the slammer with you?
No, man, of course he wasn't.
Well, then I'm lost.
Try to be linear, Doc.
Okay, right, we start again. Flashback, huh? Zzz, Brixton, overcrowded, the library. I'm making riffs in my head when the door opens and Eric Dancer staggers in, completely smashed. Been picked up for drunken driving.
I was going overland across Clapham Common. I nearly knocked over one of those cops who hangs around trying to entrap gays on a Saturday night.
Eric, don't get into gay rights just when the doc is being linear.
Sorry.
So here's this nice-looking kid sobbing his heart out. So I go into my mammy shadow routine and offer him some comfort.
I'm jerking tears because the guy I've devoted 3 years of my life to has recently booted me out of his maisonette.
And then he says that the guy was loaded. So I said, why don't you sue him for palimony, you know, like Billie Jean King's girlfriend? And he said, no, he couldn't do it. Still loves the guy. And then he shows me a photo. Yes, folks, it was the face of the infidel.
You're kidding me. You were Steve Rideau's lover?
That's right.
Oh, God, this is so wonderfully sorted. Yeah, heartwarming, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean to diminish your pain, Eric.
I'm just glad to be useful, Max.
It's extremely useful, Eric, if it's true.
You have my word, Mr. Fall, and my documentation.
Documentation's impressive.
What's the game plan?
I think you should check out and see if this stuff's legit, and if it is, we'll put Dancer on with Whazz.
Show the material to Storer and discuss the slander factor with him. Max and I'll take Eric back to Pimlico.
We'll make Channel D a safe house for you.
Very John le Carre.
Eric, you're going to be a video star.
Shoot.
Look, are you convinced this is the best course of action? Fighting Rideau instead of playing ball with him?
Just tell me the decision.
Well, the stuff seems to be authentic. Storer says we're safe.
It's a go.
I better get a move on. Takes me hours to get dressed. I think I'll wear the stilettos.
The stilettos?
Well, you see, Bob, this interview's going to be very difficult for the kid, psychologically speaking.
So he's going to do it as Grace Jones.
I see.
He's a bit more effeminate than she is, but otherwise it's spot on.
I don't like it. I don't like any of it. This is a high-voltage risk. Look, we've got a fine structure going here. We're in danger of losing everything, goddammit. Why can't we bend with the wind?
Because it's not a wind, John. It's a bloody typhoon.
Yeah, let's expose the sucker and let the vultures pick at his bones.
All right, John,
Yeah, well, I'm just checking
yes, I'm not.
Just checking
All right.
Oh, Jesus, suffering Christ, I've lost the goddamn thing.
Nigel, can you hear me?
Was that the bell?
From Eric,
Well, you wouldn't like to check, would you? Where the hell is Walter? I don't think we can start without the documentation.
We got to go at 10, Bob. We got a timeout, Guardian, Private Eye all watching the show.
There's old Strangelove now. His car must have broken down.
It's the fireworks.
No chance. Be right back.
Thanks, Doc. Incomparable. And now the highlight of our evening, a descent into the cesspool of purity. The private life of lawyer and moralist Mr. Steve Rideau, as told to us by someone who knew him intimately and even beyond intimacy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please have a big Channel D welcome for Mr. Eric Dancer. You look fabulous tonight.
Thank you, Teddy.
Eric, you're a noted chanteuse on the drag circuit.
Thank you, Teddy.
But before you warble for us, if it's not too painful, I'd like to ask you about your life with Steve Rideau. You did live with him, my researchers tell me.
Yes, I did, and I was happy for a time.
When did you meet?
About 3.5 years ago, soon after I arrived from Brisbane. Drag has always been my life, Teddy, and London is the drag capital of the world.
I agree.
I was selling certain substances to support myself, to pay my seamstress and so forth.
You were what we call a pusher?
Well, I thought of myself as a public servant, helping to oil the wheels of music, literature, sport and politics. I only handled the best shit. My dealer was a Tory MP. It broke my heart when they busted him.
You certainly do get around.
I've always been curious about life.
How did Steve Rideau fit into all of this?
I met him on a delivery.
You mean he was into drugs?
Oh, only cocaine. just for a little extra pep in the morning.
I see, a child of his times.
It was raining. He said to have a brandy. He asked me about myself. He's very interested in people, Teddy. The drag thing seemed to excite him. And, well, it all became fairly explosive. I moved in as a combination chauffeur, secretary and lover. For a while it was paradisical, heavily sensual, but romantic too. Steve's a traditional romantic, really. He doesn't like the new macho type of faggot. Prefers his men willowy and sensitive.
And in drag?
Yes, indeed. In fact, Steve bought me many superb outfits. For instance, when I took dictation for him, he liked me to wear a sort of 40s Joan Crawford daywear number, two-piece super shoulder pads out of here, tailored blouse, wedges.
Presumably you learnt quite a lot about his business affairs.
I knew everything. I was his extremely confidential secretary.
Tell me something about the Sunshine Company.
That was a consortium after the Channel D franchise, merchant bankers, TV people, TV as in television. Steve was their legal advisor.
And I believe you told me that Cedric Shade was on the board of the Sunshine Company.
Correct, yes. Can I sing?
You're singing beautifully, Eric. You're singing like a regular canary.
Thank you, Teddy.
What's riveting to me is that Rideau and Shade were part of an attempt to run Channel D, but saw nothing improper in heading cable concern.
Odd, isn't it? But Steve is very ambitious, and ambitious people frequently have a double-entry bookkeeping system, morally speaking.
Wise words.
For Steve, cable concern was a godsend, a stepping stone to Parliament and all stops north. That's why I got the big kiss-off.
Literally?
That's right, Teddy. He was moving into politics, and he didn't want a transvestite drug dealer sharing his bed. I was the skeleton in his cupboard.
In wedgies and shoulder pads.
But I still have my memories, my photos and my letters.
No letters yet.
Before we discuss those rather painful missives, perhaps you'd favour us with a tune. Would you like that, Eric?
Yes, please, Teddy. I'd like to give you my rendition of Video Stars.
Very apt. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Dancer.
Fed up with the box, games and soap inanity. No anger, joy, no shocks. Dead from lack of energy. Wake up, wake up.
Moving close. Closer.
Where were you, Bob? It's brilliant.
Amazing. Electric. Okay, hold it out.
We have a problem.
Tonight.
After the song, you better bung in another program. Tell them we're having technical difficulties, which we most certainly are. What is it, Bob? Very bad news.
You can own the box, band of bland inanity. Fill it with anger, joy, and shocks, alive and packed with energy. Wake up, wake up.
Good evening, Bob, and welcome to the Walter 4 show. I've chosen to communicate via cassette, as it seems to me the violence and dementia level at Channel D would have put me in some considerable physical danger.
Who can he mean?
Now, after leaving you this morning, I thought long and hard, and it seemed to me that you've lost control of the situation. So instead of seeing your lawyer, I decided to have a full and frank discussion with Steve Rideau.
Shit. Oh, it's an entire creep show, Max.
Well, Steve, here's the question on everyone's lips. Now, who is Eric Dancer?
Well, he's a very disturbed young man.
Oh, Jesus, you bastard, Steve.
Eric Dancer had had nervous breakdowns all over the Antipodes, and he turned up on my doorstep about 3 years ago with a letter from a cousin of mine who has a psychiatry practice in Sydney. Alistair had treated Eric and asked me to give him a start as a personal favour.
So you took him in?
Yes. Well, my mother had died recently, and I'd rather let things get on top of me. Housework, personal correspondence, and Eric seemed bright and eager, and I thought he could help. And it worked for a time.
There was a rather upsetting incident.
Oh, quite upsetting, yes. I came back from the opera one night, Tosca, in fact, and I found Eric Dancer lying on my bed, dressed in an evening gown which had belonged to my mother. He asked me to commit an act of grace and decency. Now, I tried to be gentle, remembering his psychiatric history, but frankly, I was nauseated.
Of course.
Well, I tried to explain that even if I were that way inclined, which I most definitely am not, I couldn't oblige him, as I had taken a vow of chastity many years before. I'd read a book called The Joy of Celibacy, which has convinced me that sexual abstinence is the correct path to mental strength.
Not with herpes and AIDS, it seems like God or nature agrees with you.
Well, that's correct.
Sorry, I seem to have strayed from the point.
No, I'm always happy to discuss celibacy.
Quite. But we left Eric dance on your bed.
Yes, I tried to persuade him gently to go to his room. He became agitated, abusive, and eventually I had to eject him from my house, physically.
And was that the last time you saw Eric dance?
Unfortunately, no. He rang on my bell about 3 months ago in a terrible state on some deadly cocktail of drugs. He wanted £10,000 for some new scheme, a drag tour of Sussex, and then he pulled out this bundle of doctored photos, pathetic forgeries, and I had to threaten him with the police before he'd leave.
2 final points, Steve. Do you take cocaine?
I'm plagued with sinusitis, Walter. I couldn't even put snuff up my nose, much less cocaine.
And were you leave advisor to the Sunshine Company?
Oh, yes. I mean, that was public knowledge. I was completely in sympathy with their goals for Channel D. A bright, positive image. Community news, garden fetes, upbeat access programs, good music, kids from fame, Duran. I'm not completely unhip. No, I don't believe that my connection with the Sunshine Company disbars me from heading cable concern.
Fine. And tell me, Steve, if Eric Dancer slanders you on Channel D, what course of action will you take?
I will begin a damages suit unless Robert Surge makes a public retraction and fires the entire staff of Channel D. They're simply not competent to be running a cable television station.
Thank you, Steve, for that. I had to do this, Bob, for your sake and the company's sake. I mean, the atmosphere down in Pimlico was too heady for you. All that romantic paranoia, it made you feel young again. But there's a communications revolution going on and millions to be made. We have to be logical, not romantic. So tomorrow you will fire Max Loom and the rest of the crazies, and I will run Channel D for you with Steve and Cedric as consultants. You see, Bob, revolutions are created by romantics, but are completed by logicians. Good night, and God bless.
You warned me, John.
Yeah, I did.
No, you were right, Max. As ever.
Just for the record, Eric.
It's true, my story's true.
I believe you, Sugar.
Thanks, Doc.
I think it's true. Spiritually, if not literally.
What does that mean?
It means he believes him. He wants to believe.
Well, we've got to believe him or we'll all crack up.
Anyway, we'll never know. Fool's given the documentation to Rideau.
Oh, Christ. What's next, Bob? Surgeon Fool becomes purge and control, right?
My options are what you might call limited, Max.
Maybe not. Or maybe there is an answer. But not on this earth.
What are you on about, Teddy? Resurrection?
In a manner of speaking, yes. I'm talking pirate video. Well, don't you see, all we have to do is put the transmitter somewhere where the Cossacks can't get at it. Like, an aeroplane.
Uh-oh, flip out.
No, it's brilliant. It's completely legal, too, because the transmitter's located in free airspace.
Exactly.
Transmitter on an airplane.
Merveilleuse, no?
Fantastic concept.
Is it feasible, John?
Yeah.
John just thrives on technical challenge, don't you, baby?
It's hardly a challenge, it's child's play, really.
Hear that, Bob? Child's play.
After all, you own the means of production, not Walter Fall. So they unplug us from the cable. We hire a plane to circle Pimlico, and Channel D continues exactly as is. Eh, Bob?
Do you know how I began? I was a DJ on Radio Caroline.
Is that a yes?
I don't know, Max. I'm not clear.
Of course you are. You don't want to destroy the inner sanctum, do you?
No.
Is that a no as in yes?
Yes.
Bloody good decision.
Is it?
Definitely.
So the channel you've come to know and love is in its final hours. We'll transmit until they unplug us. But here's a promise from the inner sanctum. We'll be back soon. I can't say more than that. Just watch the skies. Keep watching the skies. And here's an invitation to spend those last few precious hours with us. If you come down to Anarchy House here on Vauxhall Bridge Road, Channel D offers you 15 minutes of free video time. Demonstrate your opinion of purge and control and come on down here. Sing, dance, act, juggle. Expose corruption, ask for a job, anything, come on down here. Remember, Anyone can be a video star. Wake up and be a video star. Anyone can be a video star.
No one's gonna come, Max. Not at 5 in the AM.
They'll come.
That, Teddy, I'm afraid, is romance, not logic.
They'll come.
They need us.
The logic's with us. The power's with us.
They'll come.
I knew it.
Starting, Max.
It's starting. They're going to arrive on foot, on bike, on the tube, on buses, on roller skates. And there's no way that Walter Fall and Steve Rideau can resist that power. You're going to look energy in the face, Bob. Pure, nuclear energy.
Fed up with the box. Wake up. Grab the power, take control. Change the picture, change the picture, change the picture, change the picture. Smash the picture. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, and be a video star. Anyone can be a video star. You can own the box, find the blanket and fill it with anger, joy, and shock. Alive and back with energy. Wake up. Grab the power, take control. Change the picture, change the picture, change the picture, change the picture. Smash the picture. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, and be a video star. Anyone can be a video star.
Adaptation of